It's really important when women are going through big changes, whether it's, pregnancy, menopause, whatever kind of hormonal stage, that we still feel good about ourselves because it's normal. What I like about NAYDAYA and what I like about small businesses is that our team, they can really see that they've accomplished something and that it's made a difference. The best brands in the world are unbelievably close to their customers and really understand them. I think it's really important to make mistakes. If something doesn't work, just stop doing it, do something else.
Hello and welcome to Unfulfilled, the podcast that delves into journeys of people shaping the e-commerce landscape. I'm your host, Luke from Fulfilled Talent. In this podcast, we'll talk to people making waves in the e-commerce sector, those who have taken the chance and have made it. We're not just interested in success, we're keen to understand the hardships, the risks, and the real life experiences behind these brands and businesses. We'll hear stories of growth, culture, and the real struggles people have faced along the way. The aim is to get an honest look at the journey of building something worthwhile in the e-commerce world. So, if you're intrigued by what really goes into building a high-growth e-commerce brand and business, please stick around. We're always unfulfilled, and we're just getting started. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Unfulfilled. I'm Luke Plain, your host, and today I'm joined by the lovely Fiona, who is the founder of NAYDAYA. Fiona created NAYDAYA back in 2019 and has been scaling the brand ever since. Today we're going to discuss why the brand was set up, Fiona's life pre-NAYDAYA, and what the future holds as well. We at Fulfilled have been very lucky to help Fiona find some great people. So we'll understand a bit more around culture, why is that so important as well. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to hand over to yourself, Fiona, to give people a bit of an overview about yourself and the brand, if that's okay, please.
Yep. So thank you so much for having me. I'm Fiona. So I am the founder, as you said, and CEO of NAYDAYA. So in case anyone doesn't know, NAYDAYA is a full body skincare wellness brand supporting women with targeted skincare and wellness products through different life stages. So from pregnancy right through to menopause. And part of our kind of ethos and mission is really to break down body care taboos and really have kind of conversations that people aren't having kind of in the public, and kind of just to break down kind of stigmas associated with kind of body changes during these hormonal stages. So that's me, that's the business. Yep.
Good. And I guess the first question is why? Why did you start NAYDAYA? What was it that triggered the idea?
Yeah. So I think it was after my first and second baby, I felt quite unsupported kind of as a new mom. And as I was going through postpartum, and there was huge changes going on with my body. And I just felt the products that were kind of available to me were kind of fluffy and pink and didn't really support me, didn't make me feel good about myself at all. I was kind of sent to the pharmacy and it was all these dusty shelves of ugly looking packaging. And I just think it's really important when women are going through big changes, whether it's, pregnancy, menopause, whatever kind of hormonal stage, that we still feel good about ourselves because it's normal. So I really wanted to create something that spoke to women and that really made them feel good about themselves, but also gave them, good products, targeted products that really supported their body changes through. So that's kind of where it all came from. And, I set it up while I was pregnant, really, and did all the research on my mat leave, and then quit my job after mat leave to really kind of bring it to life.
Wow. And had you ever done a new product previously, or was this literally just a case of you saw a gap in the market, there was nothing there, and you went out and done that MPD sort of work? Or what was it that, how does that sort of work, I guess, from a new founder point of view as well? Especially in this sort of product group as well, right? It's not like you're releasing, I don't think of another product really, like a clothing line, for example.
Yeah.
It's a very different product, right? You're putting into other women's hands and on bodies. What was that sort of process like?
Yeah. So I think it really started because I personally could not find products to support me. And I mean, for example, I was breastfeeding and I ended up in hospital with an allergic reaction to an over-the-counter nipple balm.
All
So
right.
that was kind of, and this was everything that was kind of in mainstream pharmacies that I was being offered, and I ended up in hospital, and it was just like I literally could not find something for me. And then our next product was really our C-section product, and also again there was just nothing really dedicated for women during, after a C-section. So it was kind of these two products that I kind of was like, why do these not exist? Why am I trying to, like, I was looking in the US, I was looking in Australia, I was trying to get products for myself. So it really started as a gap of a couple of products, but then as I started doing all the research, I realized that there was a huge amount of women that kind of felt the same as me, didn't have the products, didn't feel like they were being spoken to by other brands, and kind of had this gap. So it was definitely a gap at the start. But then I think as I started building it, I realized that it was just a huge category of women that had kind of been brushed under the table. And, a lot of mainstream brands aren't really targeting these different hormonal stages because they're so big, they can just target everyone, and it's that lack of targeting that I felt was really there. So that's kind of how it started really initially. But yeah.
Okay. And then talk about that first, I don't know, 12 months of how did you get product to market? How did you start driving awareness, that the community around the products? Well, how did you do all that, like, on your own with, little ones running around, all that sort of stuff? How did you manage to do all of that and make it a success?
Yeah, so I mean, I did a huge amount of research kind of just to see if it was a viable business, you know what I mean, and doing business plans, talking to loads of people. I wasn't in the skincare industry at all and the beauty industry at all. So I had to really kind of educate myself on, how I would even make a product here in the UK and how I would actually get it out. Like, I was a project manager previously, so I'm pretty good at kind of putting pieces together and figuring out like who I need to get for different kind of, I suppose, different resources for the project. But it was very much a case of, yeah, doing the research, make sure, make just competitor analysis, and then figuring out, like, okay, I'm in the UK, is there even manufacturers that can do this? Going to talk to as many as I can. And then once I had the product, which obviously took a long time, then it was like, okay, how am I bringing this to market? How am I going to make money for it? And again, it wasn't my area. I hadn't really been in e-commerce. I hadn't really set up a website before. I mean, I'd had a blog back in the day, a fashion blog. I'd had a few small businesses kind of as like side gigs when I was working. So I had a little bit of knowledge, but again, it was just, I think it's about educating yourself and bringing experts around you. And I just went to every single event. I went to every single beauty event. I went to every single like e-commerce event, talking to people, trying to figure out how to piece all the pieces of the puzzle together. And I think the biggest thing was creating the actual product and making sure that people liked it. So getting that like kind of product market fit. And then once I had it, I was like, okay, now we're moving on to like bringing it to market. Is it a website? Is it, unfortunately, I launched literally 2 months before COVID. So all of a sudden it was like e-commerce was the only way. There was no other way of me getting this in front of people. So in a way, it was nice because I was just so focused on that. And it was like, okay, amazing website, customer service, warehouse, getting it out to people. But it's kind of, you've got to take it in like small little projects, I suppose, of like product market fit, getting it out, and then the marketing part of it. So yeah, it was fun.
Is it still fun?
It is still fun. I mean, it is still fun. I love it. Like, it's obviously different, but I don't really feel like I'm working ever. Just because I do love it. It's still, it's still small. I'm still so close to every part of the business. And building the team, and bringing in people who are now obviously better than me at different parts of the business, which is really nice because like I'm learning as well. So yeah, no, it's still fun. It is still fun.
And what was that first like few years like then? So tell me more about like that. I know I mentioned us in at the start of this. It was January 2019 when it all sort of started.
Yeah.
Is that when you released first product, or is that right? So Jan 19 was first product release.
Yeah, I think we launched kind of towards, maybe it was like May or May June time 2019 is when I had, so I only had two products. So I had the nipple balm, which people would not be allergic to. And I had the C-section balm as well. So they were my first two products. And so literally just those two, got them up on the website, did the photo shoots, figured out how to kind of raise awareness. I mean, I didn't have very much money at all. Like, I didn't have investments. So we really went for free, like gifting, social media, as much kind of free press we could get ourselves. And then as it kind of started getting momentum, and I think even because it was COVID, like our online ads were really important because how else were we going to? So I started investing small amounts in different pockets to kind of figure out what hit. And then COVID was great just because all of a sudden all these women were just online. They weren't anywhere
Mm.
else. So they were looking for these products. So yeah, the first couple months were challenging. I was packing all the boxes myself, and you know what I mean. I was bringing my big sack to Royal Mail. But it just, it started slowly. It's not, it wasn't like a massive hit immediately. We had some really good press, like within like 2 or 3 months of us launching, we had this big Daily Mail piece that was just picked up completely by random, because we were posting a lot of before and after photos. Like that was it was huge for us at the time because, we weren't really paying PR. And that really kind of put us on the map, I suppose. And you know what I mean? We had a huge amount of new customers. So from then I was like, okay, I need a warehouse. So it just started. Yeah, it was all piece by piece. But yeah.
And what was post NAYDAYA, Fiona? What was your life? You mentioned project management previous. But what was you doing like pre? I guess that sort of helped you with NAYDAYA.
Yeah, so I was a management consultant, and it was very much project based. So I was project managing. So we would go into kind of really massive businesses, global businesses, and work on particular kind of financial ERP systems changes that would go ahead. So I would be in charge of different teams, to kind of implement different changes depending on their requirements. So I think it's that project management probably hat that was good because it was project based work. I'd have to go into different industries. It could be like oil, it could be cars, it could be clothes, it could be food. So really different industries, understand very quickly what they wanted to do and then figure out the teams I needed. So I think that probably served me with NAYDAYA because I was quick at figuring that out and figuring out, just problem solving and how I get from A to B. So I think that definitely helped, because I didn't have that experience in the beauty or skincare industry. But I think, yeah, getting projects and just getting it done really. Nothing has to be perfect. It's getting it out there, iterating, going back. So I think that was kind of what definitely helped me. Yeah, over the years.
Nice. And what would you take from like let's say the corporate world that you were in previously that you would like do differently, or what sort of things do you think you learned that have been great for you that will help you grow NAYDAYA as well, of interest?
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem I always had with these big companies was that like I always just felt like a cog in their wheels. So, I was working on a project, but like there was thousands of other projects. So you never really feel, even at the end of a project, I still wouldn't feel that I'd accomplished anything because it's probably so small in their landscape of, changes that they're making. So I think what I like about NADEA and what I like about small business is that like even, our team, they can like really see that they've accomplished something and that it's made a difference, and anything they're working on is like it's so obvious and they can see, the end result. And I think it's quite rewarding for us and for me, just being able to make changes and being able to kind of really be part of a small team to bring it out. So yeah.
Amazing. And then I guess going back to NAYDAYA now then, so obviously ecom is you cut your teeth in ecom just by like basically learning, right? You say like launching stuff,
Yeah.
see how it works. I guess speaking to your customers loads, understanding what they love about your product, what things they want, like what else they're struggling with, maybe that sort of stuff. And
Yeah.
like talk about that sort of process. Like I know from knowing you for the last couple of years, like customer experience for you is key, isn't it? And actually really talking to your community and
Yeah.
doing things that help them. So like again, talk about sort of the key things you've learned from that and then how you've implemented that in NAYDAYA, please.
Yeah, I always find like any blogs or anything I read about setting up a business, they're always like, know your customer. And like I think sometimes when you set something up and you're so involved in everything, you kind of forget about that just because you think you know them, you think you understand them. But I think being so close to them is unbelievably valuable, and understanding how they're shopping, where they're shopping, what other brands they're shopping with. And really understanding that like that direct feedback on things that you're bringing out, whether it's your products, whether it's your messaging, whether it's, PR campaign. And I think, especially at the beginning, you have an even better opportunity to be closer to them because, and then you can make the changes. And that's what I like about a small business. Like, if we put something out and, like, I don't know, our core customers don't like it, we can just change it. You know what I mean? There's so many things you can do. So I think it's really important at the beginning just to really understand them and what they're doing, because I think you can overlook them because you're just so focused on the bigger picture and you're so focused on getting something out. But actually, like, you need them and you need more of them and you need to be able to grow them in order to have a viable business. So I think that kind of like understanding community, we've set up something called the NAYDAYA Insiders, where we have a number of customers, and these are our like best customers, core customers, and we run everything by them. Like, we send them lab samples, we send, marketing campaigns, we send, for example, we've got a Christmas bag coming out, like a gift bag, and we had a couple of options, got them to choose. And that's so important to us, because I think we're so into the day to day, the team, but actually getting these people who love your brand and who, have that brand affinity, is really important. I think if, I probably we set it up too late. We've set it up more recently, but it's huge, I think, for us now, to really have that kind of customer affinity. And I think that's kind of the best brands in the world are unbelievably close to their
Mm.
customers and really understand them. So yeah, it's important.
And those insiders, are they like your top like lifetime value sort of customers? People have always sort of either continued to purchase, or maybe they have been like your biggest referrers. Like, what made you like? How did you pick? I guess like
Yeah.
who's that elite club in a way? Like who's been the one who's been able to get involved in that?
Yeah, so there was a couple, like, our best customers, yeah, so like anyone that's shopped over a certain amount of times, or, what I mean, who keeps coming back. So there's kind of those customers. There are also customers that like leave amazing reviews, or
Hmm.
even some of our ambassadors. We have ambassador programs, some of those who promote our products like on their own socials, that we're not asking them to really, and they're doing it on their own accord. People on our socials, people that come to our events. So it's kind of a mixture of people, and it's kind of, sending out a survey asking them, do they want to be part of this group, and then, the people that want to be get back. So they're, we create them, and then we kind of recruit over a couple months as well, like, new people, to come on as well. So yeah, we're trying to keep it small enough that we can manage it, and small enough that they also feel connected to us, and are able to give us like good feedback, bad
Yeah,
feedback, whatever they're feeling.
whatever it is. Yeah, so it's so
Yeah.
important because again, also I know you've been to a couple of like the events that we've been to like together, and you hear brands talk about, oh, we used to think that our customers want to hear about, I don't know, how our product is made and what the process we go through and all this sort of stuff, but actually they really care about is like how quickly is my product going to get here. Like, it's the other stuff, isn't it? And that's what you're learning, right? You're learning that your customers care about X and Y rather than the other stuff that you feel is
Yeah.
important.
Exactly. And I think when you're setting the business up, you kind of assume that, like, these are the values that they're
Mm.
gonna, feel connected with. And I think it's, sometimes they're totally different. When I set it up, I wanted everything to be organic. Like, I didn't want anything else. That was like my key thing. But actually, over time, yes, people want, we discovered people want organic stuff, but they also want the products to work. If it's not, you know what I mean? There just needs to be an efficacy with it as well. So we've kind of like changed a few of our formulas to, it's all these types of things that you don't know until you start, and until you kind of get this feedback.
Yeah.
Uh,
And in terms of like you mentioned, Daily Mail picked you up in the first sort of few months. Like, is there another couple of examples of like almost like an oh shit moment, like this has happened, like then, or like a moment you woke up in the morning and there's been a flurry of orders, like what's triggered that? Has there been a couple of them you can discuss and sort of, I guess, the what they were and sort of what the knock-on effects were of them as well?
Yeah, and it's funny because I always think the ones that hit the biggest are the ones that are completely organic. And you know what I mean? We haven't kind of
Mm.
gone to PR, and they've, it's not really necessarily like a PR piece. It's like completely organic. So that Daily Mail one is one. On Substack, we've had a number of, like, India Knight. I don't know if you know her. She's a really famous journalist. She writes for the Times, and she writes for Stylist magazine. She randomly picked something up complete, we'd never even sent our products to her. So like things like that, just because they're very honest, and they're like, we didn't pay her, we didn't send her anything. She picked it up. But I think maybe some of the big moments would be obviously when we've launched with some of our retailers like Selfridges, Cult Beauty, like those are huge moments for the brand, and they're such iconic brands themselves. So for a small brand to be kind of seen in these places has been really huge. I'd also say some of the campaigns that we've run in the past as well, where we've got women together and got women to talk about different issues. It's just really brought like that sense of community as well, and kind of just breaking down the taboos. So yeah, there's been a number. I mean, yeah, there's been lots of moments, but those are the main ones.
Is there one like pinch me moment that you think like has, I don't know, been like the catalyst maybe, or has there been one thing you'd pick out like in terms of what you've mentioned so far?
I probably launching with Selfridges, I would say, you know what I mean? Just because, like, they're such an iconic brand, they're such a UK well-known brand, and for us, that was just such an amazing moment to be stocked there. Like, you know what I mean? That was crazy. Yeah, that was probably for me, probably Selfridges.
And I guess like again, like from brands who might listen to this, like how did that happen? Like for someone who doesn't know how to open that door, like how did that process come about? Yeah, so rather than me asking that question, you tell me what sort of happened.
Honestly, it took me emailing them probably about 17 times.
Yeah,
It's been kind of like dogged about things. And, we were like, we belong here. We know your customers are going to love it. I just kept emailing all the buyers. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Just like sending them business updates, sending them like things that had happened, awards we'd won, any press we were mentioned in. And like, I remember looking at that. And it's the same with Cult Beauty as well. The same thing happened. And I remember looking at the thread when they eventually got back. I'm not joking. It was like 15 emails over a course of like a year. I was emailing them every month with updates, and they eventually, but like, you want to remain top of mind for these people,
yeah.
and it is hard, I think, with the retailers as well to get that cutthroat. And because the COVID was just such a big part of the start of our journey, no one was taking on new brands. So it has only been in the last kind of couple of years that we've kind of had that breakthrough with retailers. But yeah, just been really annoying.
Or dogged, as just dog is the right word to
Yeah,
use, isn't it?
yeah,
Consistent, all
yeah,
those sort of things. That's the
yeah.
whole thing. I think like Sam from Batch London was on here a few episodes ago, and he said
Okay.
basically the longer you survive, the more opportunities that will come because you're consistent with what you're doing, and then opportunities will come in a way. And that's what you're basically saying, isn't it? It's just continuing to survive, produce really good work, knocking on the
Yeah,
right doors, then eventually things will start happening, which is just having that ability, isn't it? And the focus to hopefully one day get that response is what
yeah.
you're looking for, isn't it?
Exactly. And like, you have to look at it from their perspective too. They don't want to take any risks on anyone that's just been around a couple of months. Like, they want to see that consistency. They want to
Mm,
see kind of, I don't know, the noise you're making in your industry, and the other brand maybe collaborations you do, all that awareness piece. Like, they need to feel confident to make same with press as well. Like, i- that Daily Mail article, for example, like, wouldn't have been picked up. It was only that we had like so many reviews, so many before and after photos. Like, they could see the kind of that people loved
traction.
it. Yeah, so it's kind of about building that. And I think when you don't have much money, it's just about finding those kind of awareness pieces that you can do for free, or you know what I mean, who you can send, who you can follow up with, what collaborations you could do with other brands. So it's just, it's all a puzzle, and it's just putting the pieces, and every piece is really tiny, and eventually you'll get a beautiful picture.
What are your thoughts on because some brands want to focus on like bricks and mortar being their main sort of
Yeah.
core focus versus ecom. Like, what are your? There's no right or wrong, obviously, in this answer because there are some brands who have done it incredibly well who are just focused on things like bricks and mortar and other marketplaces like Amazon,
Yeah.
and they don't have the D2C channel like someone like yourself have, obviously. Like, what's your sort of thoughts on that? Like, in long term, do you see NAYDAYA being split 50-50 with your bricks and mortar and your ecom? Like, what's your overall
Yeah.
thoughts on that? Like revenue mix, I guess is the question there.
Yeah, I think it's different for every brand and every business. And you know what I mean? I think for us in particular, because a lot of our products are for sensitive parts of the body, there's a lot of women that you know what I mean? Still, because we're talking about a lot of taboo issues, mightn't feel comfortable walking into a store to get these. Like they want to shop online. And we actually did a survey recently of it was over 1,000 of our customers responded, and like 80% of them are shopping online because that's where they want to shop. So for us, it's just really important that we have that strong DTC so it's available to them and they're able to shop privately if they want. You know, obviously we are trying to, you know, make noise
Mm.
around the taboo subjects, but there, you know, that's people still find a lot of the conversations we're having taboo and maybe don't want to walk into a store. I would love to see, yeah, probably a 50-50 split at some point. But I think our focus at the moment is still online, just and finding, you know, having our own e-commerce store, but also figuring out where else they're shopping online and, you know, try to be seen there. So I think we'll always have a really big focus. Yes, I'd love it to be 50-50, but whether we get to that in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, I'm not sure. It's kind of finding the right retailers for us that kind of support, yeah, that journey of a woman going into a store and just feeling really comfortable buying maybe something for their vulva, maybe something for their nipples, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, where or do they feel comfortable doing that? Like some women don't want to walk into, I don't know, Harrods, Selfridges and all these places, like it's intimidating. So
Mm.
it's trying to kind of understand the landscape. But I think there's other businesses that it makes sense for, you know what I mean, for the bricks and mortar, and especially a lot of like sensory products that you really want to feel and touch, and like, you know, perfume or something, like all those types of things. I think customers need to actually be in front. It's kind of hard to get the feel. So I think it depends on your business really.
Yeah.
But yeah, for us, we're still very focused on online.
And I guess the bricks and mortar side is also really important to increase brand awareness, right? As well, because if they don't know who NAYDAYA is, but they're looking around the shop and they see it, that could be the entrance point to D2C as well, right? So it's just that balance in that, isn't it?
It is trying to get that balancing act, and we've got a really a whole new range launching in October, and it's in the most beautiful packaging, and I want people to see it. Like I want it to be in front of people. I want people to feel it. I want people to see the products. Like, you know, so that's something else. Like we're trying to kind of figure out, because you're right. Like if you're seen in a store, you might then shop online. Like it's kind of all those different touch points where you want to be seen. So yes, it's definitely part of our strategy. But it's kind of finding the right places for it.
Okay. And the next question for me is around like the good and bad, or I guess, of trying to scale a business. Like, is there one moment you think of that you look back and thought like that was like a bad decision, maybe, or like biggest challenge or biggest hurdle, let's say, and then the flip of that is there one or couple of things you think of that were like almost that vindication of a decision in a way? Like, is there a couple of examples you can think of that has happened in your sort of time that look at both the good and bad, right, of trying to have your own business and scale it?
Yeah, I mean, we make bad decisions all the time, but it's kind of, you know, it's kind of like making them out bad on a small scale and learning from it and not doing it again. I think it's really important to make mistakes. You know, we've even something like the other yesterday we launched a new product, a tool, and we're already out of stock. Like that was a bad decision.
Wow.
We didn't, you know, it's great, but like it's kind of these things we didn't expect it to do as well as it did, and you know now we're trying to deal with all of that. Like so, there's probably lots of, you know, we just learn. We're like, okay, next time we need to make sure we have more.
Yeah.
um, you know, we've made some bad website changes, or, you know, before I had kind of an e-commerce manager, I was doing it myself, and, you know, I would have put loads of stuff up and then the website would have gone down. And, but, you know, you learn from these things, you kind of figure it out. We have to be careful the way we speak to women as well, just because there's, you know, some women don't like the kind of how outspoken we are, you know, how kind of in your face some of our emails are. So it's kind of learning from these, you know, people reacting and getting back to us. But I think it's really important to fail if you're setting up a business, but just do it quickly and fix it.
Mm.
But yeah. So what was the other side part of the question?
The good
Good
side,
things.
I guess. Yeah.
Um, so
There's
good
plenty, I'm
decisions I've
sure.
made.
Yeah, good
Yeah, there's
decisions. Yeah.
loads. Yeah, good decisions. Definitely hiring a team has been the best decision I've made, because it was kind of there was two of us for the first like 2 or 3 years, loads of contractors, and everything was a bit all over the place. So I think hiring the team, but hiring it slowly, like not getting everyone all at once, but really understanding kind of where you do need people, and you do need experts, and then making sure that they're the right people as well. So I think that's probably the best decision I've made over the last kind of 2 years. It's just building that team,
Mm.
but building it in a way that it makes sense for the business from a financial point of view, but also for everyone that I hire, that it's the place that they want to work, and they feel supported, and that we're all kind of following the same mission.
What was the tipping point in terms of like one like needing to hire like that head of econ we talked about? What was the thing that was there? I know if you worked with Tash sort of previously, when you like Tash used to help with bits and pieces through like DTC and bits and pieces. So what was like
Yeah.
that trigger again that made you think, okay, like now's the time I need to make this hire? What was that that sort of not forced your hand, but what was
Yeah,
it that made
for
you make that decision?
for e-commerce, like head of e-commerce specifically, I mean, we had started to see such quite a huge amount of growth in a short period of time, and it was trying to just manage the whole website and everything that was going on, and I was doing it, but my time was just getting so stretched, and again, like probably making bad decisions of different platforms or different like apps we were working with, and then different, I suppose, like consultants here and there, and it just started getting a bit messy, I would say. And I, to support the growth that we were experiencing during that time, I just needed someone who knew what they were doing, that could really just take it away from me as well, and run it 100 times better than me, and then just give me a little bit more time of my time back to kind of focus on other things. And I think that's how all of the positions have come about. Like, you know, supply chain is another
Mm.
example. I was kind of managing kind of freelancers here and there, but also making really bad decisions on stock and ordering. We over ordering, under ordering, because I didn't have the time to kind of really get into it. So again, that was another position. So there's just, yeah, I think when you obviously you need the money to do it, but I think when you start seeing gaps and holes and you start making more mistakes and things, to support the growth, you need to fix it. So I think they're the kind of tipping points,
Yeah, makes sense.
for sure. Yeah.
And in terms of obviously ecom is all about collaboration, as obviously we've both found out through like events and obviously through people we know and bits and pieces. So are there a couple of like ecom partners or trusted allies, let's say on NAYDAYA, who like you like almost couldn't live without? Are there a couple you sort of spring to mind who have really sort of helped you?
Yeah, well, obviously Unfulfilled, for sure, because you've hired my whole team. So that's been key, because I think before I had never worked with any recruiters at all, and I was hiring people myself, and again, just even like trying to find the time to go through and find all these people, and then I made some not great decisions, you know what I mean, earlier on, with hiring people, and again, it's like not my skill set, and I didn't have the time. So I think that's been huge just for the team, and us, and we've really got the right people in place, and before, it's nice to have everyone kind of vetted properly before it gets to me. So I think that's been really key at just building the team. Another one would be Triffin. I know you guys, you know the Triffin guys. So from
Mm-hmm.
a financial point of view, that's just been so helpful for me managing just all my finances, and just having kind of that live cash flow, live P&L, really live view of where we are as a business. And like as a result of that, I've been able to hire people because I can see everything. It's, I'm not relying on spreadsheets and maybe an accountant that does couple hours here and there,
Mm.
who's not in the business. Because I feel like Triffin are kind of an extension of our team, which is great. So yes, so those two would be, yes, my favorites.
Amazing. And obviously, like,
Yeah.
if people don't know who Triffin are, like again, if again a brand listening to this, like how would you explain them and their service again to someone who might be in that same situation you were when you needed that support? Like, how would you explain what they sort of give you?
I kind of feel like it's like a CFO nearly. You know what I mean? It's obviously it's an app, and it's a platform that connects all your different sides of the business. but you also have like ongoing support with the team. But I think where it really helped me was I was relying on a cash flow that was always out of date. I never knew when actually people needed to be paid. I was kind of going through emails, figuring out like, so it's kind of having that live cash flow, that a live kind of payment run that I can just pay people, but also having, I could put my entire financial plan for the year into the system. I can see how I'm tracking every single month. I've live P&L, so I don't have to wait till middle of the next month, but you know what I mean, before someone would
Uh-huh.
run my P&L and balance sheet. It's just having that live view and really understanding. And then because I have a live view of cash flow, if I see things are, I don't know, looking a bit low, I can move things around. Like my supply chain manager can move, payment terms around with people, renegotiate things. So it's really giving me that forward looking view, which I think, to be honest, you would need a part-time, full-time kind of CFO to really look at that. So I think it's really good for businesses of all stages, but especially yeah, startups and businesses up to, I'm sure, like 30, 40, 50 million, to really
Mm.
have them, and just connecting everything. And I know exactly what I'm spending on, like my performance marketing, everything. So it's really good. Yeah.
Does it also help with things like understanding how much stock you should be ordering and shouldn't be ordering and that sort of stuff as well?
Yes, I think they're building that out. At the moment, we still use spreadsheets for that because we've a kind of complicated supply chain, lots of different things. So that's all on spreadsheets at the moment, but it's all, connected. Like uh, my supply chain manager can place, POs out for the rest of the year, and it's, so we're
Mhm.
guessing what we're going to order, and it's all connected to Triffin. So I know, I can see that for the rest of the year where the money's going to go in and out. So that's like, it's super helpful.
Amazing. Okay, good. Well, I didn't pay you for that a validation of our service either, so I thank you for mentioning
Hmm.
us. Um,
It's okay.
and I guess like from like if there was a new founder like coming to you now, like they're hoping to like I'm not sure if you get this or not, Fiona, but like what sort of bits of advice would you give a new brand, whether it be in the similar sort of category you are in or in other categories? Like what would be like your key almost like takeaways or key things that they should always be focusing on?
Yeah, I think again, I'll go back to like really knowing your customer. Because I think it's really easy to be like, oh, I want TikTok, I want Facebook, I want Instagram, I want YouTube, and nearly spreading the net too wide. And it's, especially if you're maybe like, even if you're funded, but it's really understanding where they are. And, if you have a small team, or if it's just you, just focusing on a few things and get them, like, do them really, really well, really kind of invest in them, before kind of being like, okay, let's have another account or another channel. So I think it's just honing in. And I think there's a temptation to assume your product is for everyone, and obviously, yes, that's great, but you're not Johnson and Johnson. You're
Mm-hmm.
not like any of like these. You do have to kind of niche down and figure out where these people are, and then just do it really, really well and really, really focused. And then in time, as you grow, then you can kind of spread your wings a little bit. But I would just be super focused on where your customers are and where you should be spending your time. And then if something doesn't work, just stop doing it, do something else. Like, just, but learn quickly, and yeah, start something new.
Amazing.
My
Okay.
advice.
And then last couple of questions would be around sort of like team culture. You've already mentioned that quite heavily in this in terms of making sure you get the right people in the right roles who really help and buy into it. Like what would you say the culture is like now within NAYDAYA, and what almost like the key things you're looking for from a person joining the business? Like what's your sort of culture aspect look like?
Yeah, I think because we're very like mission focused brand, and we genuinely all believe, what I mean, we were helping women and we are supporting them, and we are, what I mean, trying to make their lives better. Like, yes, obviously I need to sell products to make money, but I think it's kind of all of us having that understanding that we're really trying to make a difference, and we're giving them things that they don't have and that change their lives. So I think, when I'm hiring people, I think there's the culture is that, like, that's the understanding, and that we are mission led, and that we kind of all come together and just, that obviously anyone that joins the team can really make a difference and really make an impact because we are still small. But I think it's just that like culture of that kind of like female focused taboo busting. We're trying to make a difference. And I think everyone on the team knows that and feels that we're all kind of trying to reach the same goal at the end of the day. So
You're
yeah.
all fairly like big personalities, I would say, too. Not the people I think might. Like you're all like, I think that probably helps, right, in terms of that taboo aspect. Like it's not being afraid to put a message out there that's the aspect, right? It's what you want. You want people to be talking about these subjects that aren't being discussed.
Yeah.
I mean, that probably helps, doesn't it? Having the people in there who've got that same like personality traits in a way, and don't mind just being very honest and upfront about things.
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone I've hired, does have a big personality, and it does, and it's great because it really fosters that whole ethos of like breaking down the taboos and just talking. I mean, some of the conversations we have about like, what I mean, on team meetings are, I'm sure, like it's not, like not appropriate, but it's just being it's that like it's that openness, it's that honesty, and then it's bringing it in to kind of the work that they're doing as well, and kind of having that culture around that. So yeah, no, it's been
Amazing. And then my last question is, what's the
yeah.
future of NAYDAYA look like? What's the next, let's say, like 12 month
Yeah.
and beyond look like for you?
Yeah, so I mean, we've got lots of products launching. I think there's gonna, we've seen quite a big shift in our customer base as well. When I started off, it was very much there was a lot of new mothers, and now there's a lot more women that are kind of going through kind of perimenopause, menopause, like that phase in life. So we're doing like a mini rebrand soon. So
Oh,
just to kind of match our messaging and our tone to kind of the customers that we have right now. So yes, it'll look a little bit different, not too different, in a couple of months, but and I'm hoping you will see us, yes, in more physical retailers as well. But we will continue kind of, you know, the mission of the brand, which is really to kind of open up conversations and break down taboos. And we're hoping to do a lot more campaigns that really support that mission. So yes, that's probably the next 12 months. But yeah, it's exciting.
amazing. Fiona, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We feel very lucky to be involved in NAYDAYA and we love sort of helping you out. So, yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. And yeah, best of luck for the future or this year. Sounds like we've got a lot of good things happening. So, yeah, looking forward to continuing to partner with you really closely.
Great. Thank you so much. It's a privilege being on your podcast.
Thank you. All right, I'll speak to you soon. Thank you
Thank
very
you. Bye.
much.
Thank you.